Sri Ramayanam, an epic that has been ingrained into the culture and heritage of Bharat over thousands of years. It has been shaping up the ethos of people living in Bharat, and contrary to the political understanding of Rama and Ramayanam, Sri Rama is never seen as a god. He is seen as a Maryada Purushottam, a man who lived a normal life, who has been inspiration throughout his life, and that simply put together is nothing but Sri Ramayana. After 500 years, the Ram Mandir is about to be inaugurated in few days. What a resilience, what a patience, and what a commitment it had been. Whether it is 14 years of exile or 500 years of resilience, end of the day, truth will win. Truth alone will win. And that resilient and razor-sharp focus of people over 500 years to bring out what the truth really is, it absorbed me completely. I thought I should do something, my 2 cents, from Project Shivoham, as a tribute to this historic event. That is the reason I'm compiling this video. For 14 years of exile of Bhagavan Sri Ram, here are 14 unknown and very important facts about Ayodhya, directly from the ancient and authentic scriptures. Let's get started. Starting with the first one. What is the meaning of the word Ayodhya? Akaro brahmacha proktam yakaro vishnuruchyate dhakaro rudrarupascha ayodhya nama rajate. These are the words of Agastya Maharshi to Vyasa Maharshi, explaining the meaning and the significance of the name Ayodhya and why the city is named as Ayodhya. The Akshara A indicates Brahma, and Vishnu is represented with the letter Ya, and Akshara Dha is in the form of Rudra. Ayodhya is an embodiment of all three, Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra. Hence the name Ayodhya. Reference Skanda Puranam Ayodhya Mahatmyam, said by Agastya Maharshi to Vyasa Maharshi. Number 2. The geography of Ayodhya. Skanda Puranam explains in great detail about the geography of this city, Ayodhya. It says that the landmass between two rivers, Tamasa and Sarayu, that part of land which is in the shape of a fish, Matsyakrutiriam, that part is called as Ayodhya. It goes in great detail explaining about the vegetation, the topography, the hills, mountains, farmlands, a lot more about Ayodhya. But to cut it short, the city of Ayodhya is in the form of a fish, sandwiched between two rivers, Tamasa and Sarayu. Number 3. Ayodhya in Tiruvayamoli. Before we get into this, a quick backstory. If you watch the podcast of Sri K.K. Muhammad, Regional Director, Archaeological Survey of India, who is directly involved with the excavations and everything to do with the Ram Janmabhoomi over last 30-35 years. He mentioned that communist and Marxist historians like Romila Thapar and Irfan Habib, they deliberately misled the investigation. Just because they are having certain political and religious biases, they tried to twist and turn the investigation, saying that there was no Ram Mandir over Ram Janmabhoomi, or there was no proof of existence of Rama, so on and so forth. So if one really wholeheartedly wanted to know the truth about if there are any written records about Ayodhya or Sri Ram, in the next couple of minutes in this video, I will show you how many sources that one could just pull out as an individual, as a common person. So coming back, Ayodhya in Tiruvayamoli. So what is Tiruvayamoli? Tiruvayamoli is an ancient Tamil scripture coming down in the tradition of Alvar Sampradaya. And this Tamil scripture is 1100 years old. I gave a Tamil and English translation here. As you can see, the words that I highlighted. Rama in Tamil is called as Airamapiran. In the city of Ayodhya is called as Ayodtal. And the reason why I pulled up this Tamil reference for Ayodhya is, now there are a lot of politicians coming in from the Tamil Nadu politics who brand Bhagavan Sri Ram as a North Indian god. A North Indian god. I don't know what these people eat and drink in their lifetime, but that's the kind of lowest level of politics what they get down to. Whatever be the case, this reference of Ayodhya in Tiruvayamoli, an undisputably ancient text in Tamil, stands as another reference that proves that Ayodhya and Sri Rama has been quite significant in the Tamil Alvar culture as well. Number 4. First Murti at Ayodhya. This is quite interesting. The temple on Ram Janmabhoomi, it's not a one-time affair. It has been constructed and destroyed multiple times. But if we really go back in time, in terms of references what we have, when was the first temple constructed? Well, according to Skanda Puranam, the very first time a temple was consecrated there by Vishnu Sharma, a Bhakta of Bhagavan Sri Mahavishnu. And Sri Mahavishnu instructs his devotee Vishnu Sharma to consecrate a murti of Vishnu in the birthplace of Sri Rama in Ayodhya and is called with the name Vishnu Hari. That is the name of the deity, and this is the first murti that was consecrated in the place of Ram Janmabhoomi. This is according to the reference from Skanda Puranam written by Vedavyasa Maharshi. Now, how can you prove that this really existed? Unfortunately, the burden of proof always will be on the victim. But let us not play the victim card. It's the worst thing one could do. So let us get to work and see how much back in time that we can prove the existence of this temple in Ayodhya. And in this video itself, I will present the proof that can go back till 2000 years. Almost. The most important point number 5. The location of Ram Janmabhoomi. Listen very carefully. Tasmat sthanat eshane Rama Janma pravartate Janmasthanamidam proktam mokshadi falasadhanam Vigneswarat purva bhage vasisthaduttare tadha Lomasat paschime bhage Janmasthanam tatah smrutam. These are the words written down by Vedavyasa Maharshi in Skanda Puranam about precise location of Ram Janmabhoomi. And the translation goes like this. Between the rivers Sarayu and Tamasa, in a place guarded by Vigneswara on the west, Vasistha Maharshi on the south, Lomasa Maharshi on the east, lies Ram Janmabhoomi. Janmasthanamidam proktam mokshadi falasadhanam. As you can see the words. And this is the epicenter for attaining moksham. There are a couple of important things here. Let's take one by one. Starting with the first one. The word Rama Janmabhoomi is not a political term or of any interest for any specific political party. It has been the center of interest for the Bhakts of Bhagavan Sri Ram over thousands of years. If you read through Skanda Puranam, the significance given to the birthplace of Bhagavan Sri Ram is incredible. There are chapters after chapters after chapters explaining the significance of Ram Janmabhoomi. Now, I cannot cover all that in this video. I just handpicked few very important ones. But what I want to emphasize here is that place has incredible spiritual significance. It is not just about one temple, it's about that place. That's point number 1. Moving to point number 2, if you watch the podcasts of these communist and Marxist historians, Romila Thapar, she was saying that there was a competition between Shiva and Vishnu, and Rama is deified as a Vishnu in the last 200-300 years. Well, I think she needs some education. In Skanda Puranam, it clearly mentions that the Ram Janmabhoomi is guarded by Vigneswara on one side, Lomasa Maharshi on another side, and Vasistha Maharshi on the third side. And according to the traditions mentioned in Skanda Puranam about Ram Janmabhoomi, the first puja should be done at Vigneswara temple, and then people should proceed to Ram Janmabhoomi. This is written in Skanda Puranam literally. So people need education. Coming to the third point. This is very interesting and very funny, trust me. We have one cross-section of society which said that why not build a hospital or why not build a school in that place? Wow, sounds so cool, right? Here is what I want to say to all those people. Why not build a hospital or school in your own place, in your home? Convert your home into a school or a hospital. Obviously, the immediate reaction is, who the hell are you to say that? Well, the same applies here as well. I think these set of people need to educate themselves a bit more about how legalities work. I'm not an expert, but at least in this context, I try to educate myself. Apparently, here is what it is. The birthplace of Bhagavan Sri Ram is a property of Sri Ram himself. According to Indian constitution, Bhagavan Sri Ram, or for that matter any divinity, is as good as an individual person with his or her personal rights, rather fundamental rights. So when Ram Lalla Virajaman is being represented in Supreme Court, Bhagavan Sri Ram is presented as a physical person fighting for his land. So who are you to suggest build a hospital or a school in somebody else's property? Ishwarudu norichadu kada ani ishtam vachinattu maatladekoodu. So these are armchair intellectuals, funny people. Anyway, let's move on. Another ancient reference about Ayodhya from Garuda Puranam. Ayodhya Madhura Maya Kashi Kanchi Avantika Puri Dvaravati Chaiva Saptaita Mokshadayakaha. There are 7 holy cities in Bharat which are revered as the bestowers of moksham, or ultimate salvation. People across Bharat have been traveling through these 7 cities, and the first one is Ayodhya, and second one is Madhura, third is Maya or Haridwar, number 4 Kashi, 5 Kanchipuram, 6 Ujjain or Avantika, and 7 is Dwaraka. So the tradition of visiting Ram Janmabhoomi is ingrained into the culture of Bharat over thousands of years. Feel like I'm repeating myself, but this is another reference in the same lines. And in case the question arises what people were visiting in Ayodhya, does it prove that Ram Janmabhoomi existed there? Well, you have to see it in its entirety. There are many references which you're still going to see in this video, how people were celebrating at Ram Janmabhoomi over time immemorial. Up next, the 7th point, significance of Sarayu. In Ayodhya, the significance of Sarayu is as much as it is for the Ram Janmabhoomi. Jalarupena Brahmaiva Sarayur Mokshada Sada. Sarayu is the manifestation of Brahman, the supreme consciousness. It is highly auspicious to perform Shardha Karma to the departed, and the place is called as Dasharadhim Purim. Dasharadhi means son of Dasharatha, which is Sri Rama. Purim is the city. So it clearly says that the city is in the name of Dasharatha Maharaj. And the significance of Sarayu river is quite deep. In olden times, there were a lot of sacrificial posts that were constructed across the bank of Sarayu, and the sampradaya of Shraddha Karma is widely practiced on the banks of Sarayu. Point number 8, Navaratri at Ayodhya. It clearly says that the annual Navaratri festival should be celebrated in the Ram Janmabhoomi and over 9 days, and the complete day by day as to what needs to be celebrated and what needs to be the spiritual practice that should be going on in the place of Ram Janmabhoomi during this Navaratri period. It is detailed out in Skanda Puranam. It sounds simple, but it is very significant for the following reason. This clearly shows that the practice of worship around Ram Janmabhoomi is not few hundreds of years old. It has been much older than that. And this is the reason why people could not give up the tradition and hence stayed resolved for 500 years to fight for justice. You can be an atheist and call this superstition. That's absolutely fine because that's your personal opinion. But you cannot deny justice for someone or some community to whom this place is so sacred and so important. Number 9, Tirthas at Ayodhya. It is not just about restoring the temple in the Ram Janmabhoomi. There are a lot of holy spots in and around Ayodhya which are called as Tirthas. After all, you know this word in Hindi or any other Indian language, we have this word called Tirtha Kshetra or Tirtha Yatra. That is because in every sacred pilgrimage site, there will always be a water body associated with that. It could be a pond or a lake or a well or a river, and this water body has equal sanctity and piousness and spiritual importance as much as the place of worship. So I wish that all these kundas, Bharata Kundam, Sita Kundam, Bhairava Kundam, Rati Kundam, Jata Kundam, all these as mentioned in Skanda Puranam would be restored to its fullest availability to the pilgrims. Number 10, giant Tirthankars in Ayodhya. Before we get into this topic, a quick context. During the excavations, it was found that Babri Masjid was built on an earlier structure and the nature of that structure could not be determined. But again comes the problem. These communist and Marxist historians, not archaeologists. Historians, they are just limited to the bookish research. They just gave up wild fringe theories that it could be a giant structure and not a Hindu structure. What's the basis? Well, nothing. But if we look at the spiritual heritage and lineage of giant Tirthankars, the facts fly in the face of these communist and Marxist historians. Of the 24 Jain Tirthankars, Sri Ajitananda, 2nd Tirthankar, Sri Abhinananda, 4th Tirthankar, Sri Sumatinatha, 5th Tirthankar, and Sri Anantanatha, 14th Tirthankar. 4 of the 24 Jain Tirthankars were born in Ayodhya, and they are born in the Ikshvaku dynasty. Essentially, they are the ancestors of Bhagavan Sri Ram. So in Jain tradition, Bhagavan Sri Ram is revered as the minor deity, as one of the forms of Narayana. But more importantly, in Jainism, Ayodhya holds quite a lot of significance because it's the birthplace of 4 Tirthankars. And interestingly, all 4 are from Ikshvaku dynasty. Like I said, they are the ancestors of Bhagavan Sri Ram. And then these communist Marxist historians are trying to promote hatred between communities by saying that, okay, it was a Jain structure that was brought down, so on and so forth. Well, here you have the facts to deal with. Number 11, Ayodhya Perumal. Ayodhya Perumal is one of the oldest Ramalayas in India. 1600 years old temple in Madhurantakam, Tamil Nadu, built during the Pallava dynasty. But if you ask where is Ayodhya Perumal temple today, maybe it's difficult for you to get to the right address. But if you ask where is the temple of Yerikadharamar, it's quite easy to find because it's the same deity, the 1600 years old temple of Bhagavan Sri Ram, located in Tamil Nadu, built during Pallava dynasty, was initially called Ayodhya Perumal. But during the time of the British occupation of India, due to heavy monsoons, there was a flood in the lake next to this temple. By that time, there was already some construction material brought into the temple to build a temple for Sita Mahalakshmi. The then collector, Lionel Place, he asked the villagers if they could use that material to construct a wall for the lake so that the lake will not come on to the village. The villagers said that this construction material is meant for the construction of a temple and we cannot let it go for stopping the lake. If at all the lake floods, let Bhagavan Sri Ram take care of it. We are not worried about it. That was the local legend. And interestingly, the flood did happen, but the water did not come out of the lake and the temple was saved. Since then, since Rama saved the village from the flood from the stream, Ayodhya Perumal is named as Erika Dharamar, and this is a local legend. As you can see here, the mural on the wall of this temple where Lionel Place, he was surprised to see that the flood did not barge into the village. Now this is a legend. As a communist or an atheist, it is totally fine if you don't believe in this legend. There is no problem. But the point here is 16 to 1700 years old temple where Bhagavan Sri Ram is revered with the name as Ayodhya Perumal. Perumal means Vishnu. Ayodhya Perumal for a good reason. So it essentially says that at least since 1700 years, the worship in Ayodhya has been ongoing. Maybe even before that, we don't know. But at least for the last 2000 years, we can see a direct, continuous, living tradition of worship at Ayodhya. And this temple is one of the oldest Sri Rama temples in India, stands as a testimony for it. And what I just said, the legend, has been engraved on the walls of this temple of Ayodhya Perumal. And what's also interesting is, after this incident, the then English collector Lionel Place, he constructed and consecrated the temple of Sita Mahalakshmi in the name of Janakavalli. So if you go to this temple, there is a smaller temple within the same compound constructed by the British collector as a token of respect towards the deity and towards the people of the village of Madhurantakam. And according to a few Tamil Nadu politicians, Bhagavan Sri Ram is a North Indian god. I don't know what these guys are smoking. Number 12. Dasham Granth Sahib, a sacred text in the Sikh tradition attributed to Sri Guru Gobind Ji, and the 219th chapter of Dasham Granth Sahib elaborates the entire Sri Ramayana in Gurumukhi and is sacred in the Sikh tradition. As you can see, I just added few snippets. Ram Param Pavitra Hai Raghubhan Ke Avatar. The first one, the avatar of Rama is very pious and sacred. The second one, as you see, Kami Nai Kaun Kaj Ki Prabhav Ram Raj Ki. In Ramarajya, there is no suffering or scarcity. Bat Teen Dishati Hu Sut Rajadhani Ram. He, Dasharatha, divided his kingdom into 4 parts and gave the capital city to Rama. So on and so forth. There is a lot of reference about Ayodhya, Sri Ram, Ramayanam in Dasham Granth Sahib. In fact, the first resistance in last 2 centuries that changed the direction of Ram Janmabhoomi is led by the Nihang Sikhs. They are the ones who first got into Ram Janmabhoomi and started the worship of Bhagavan Sri Ram. And as I see from the news, on the day of the consecration of or the Prana Pratishta of Bhagavan Sri Ram, there is a huge langar being organized by the Sikh communities. So what I want to say is, Bhagavan Sri Ram holds a reasonable significance in Sikh tradition as well. Now if I say this, or even in the context of Jain tradition, people will say that, okay, you're saffronizing, it's a political agenda or some sort of BJP, RSS nexus and all sorts of nonsense. I mean, guys, hang on. Sikh tradition is a distinct tradition with its high set of spiritual values directed by Sri Guru Nanak Ji. Same way, Jain tradition is a distinct tradition with another set of high spiritual values set by the lineage of the 24 Tirthankars. What I am saying is, Ayodhya as a place, in Bhagavan Sri Ram as a deity, holds a reasonable significance in these 2 traditions also. Basically, from Tamil Nadu to Punjab, all the way, the place of Ayodhya is highly significant over thousands of years. Period. Throughout this excavations and investigations of Ram Janmabhoomi and the legal procedure, there was a lot of attempts by these communist and Marxist historians to say that, okay, there was a fight between the Shiva worshippers and Vishnu worshippers, and that is when Rama is deified as avatar of Vishnu, somehow to lay claim on the property. All sorts of fringe aspects they brought up. Well, the point is this. facts always fly in the face. Ayodhya and Varanasi. See, this specific slokam, it clearly mentions that in Kali Yuga, if anyone stays in the city of Dasarathi or Ayodhya, that person will achieve the virtue of staying in Kashi for 60,000 years. And that symbolically it is given as 60,000 years. But the point is, Ayodhya and Varanasi, they are equally reverential for the people of Bharat. As well, we have seen another instance where Vigneshwara should be worshipped first before you proceed on to Ram Janmabhoomi. This has been a living tradition as given in Skanda Purana. And also in the 7 holy cities of Mokshapuri that we just saw a couple of minutes ago. There, Ayodhya and Madura has nothing to do with Shiva. Kashi and Ujjain has nothing to do with Vishnu. But all these 7 cities put together held a very deep spiritual significance in the history of Bharat. So this Shiva-Vishnu fight, maybe it was there as a soft rift between certain communities. But scripturally and spiritually and traditionally, there was nothing like that. These guys tried to create some sort of rift to slow down the process or to put in their personal, political and religious ideologies into the process. I repeat my words. Facts fly in the face. 14th and last point. Raghuvamsham, written by Kalidasa. It is dedicated to the entire Ikshvaku dynasty, lineage, politics, bloodline, life history, and a lot more about the Ikshvaku dynasty and Ayodhya as a capital. So if as a historian, if one want to refer to the sources as to what has been the significance of Ayodhya, I think a single go-to place would be or should be Kalidasa's Raghuvamsham. As you can see here is a sample slokam. Sarayu river has the sacrificial post fixed on its banks, flows her waters past the metropolis Ayodhya, the land of Ikshvaku dynasty. Ayodhya has been an urban city. In Raghuvamsham or many other scriptures, you can see that there were multi-storied buildings, well-planned water supply system, irrigation, commerce, a lot more have been developed in this place of Ayodhya over centuries. So that is all. 14 ancient scriptures that elaborate the spiritual, historical and cultural significance of Ayodhya from different parts of Bharat. I did not go into the historical records written by the foreign travelers. I did not go into the references of Ramayanam outside Bharat like in Indonesia, Java and some other cultures and traditions. I just stick only to Bharat just to tell you or rather show you how deep has been the significance of Ayodhya in the culture of Bharat and of course the Ram Janmabhoomi as well. It is not just 14. You can get 400 references or even more if you really wish to know the truth. And in this context, my eternal gratitude towards Sri Bibi Lalji and Sri KK Muhammadji for bringing out the truth about Ram Janmabhoomi since last 30-35 years. To close this video with certain important remarks. What is the source of these ancient scriptures? Do we have the manuscript surviving? How do we get to know all this? Well, the British, they confiscated a huge cache of manuscripts from the southern part of Bharat during their rule, in which Skanda Puranam is also one of that lot. And interestingly, the Sanskritam Skanda Puranam is written in Tamil script. I repeat my words. The Sanskritam Skanda Puranam is written in Tamil script. Today, in the name of Tamil pride, bashing Sanskritam has become a very unhealthy trend, because that is essentially due to ignorance of people about their own culture and heritage. I'm not saying all, but people who are shrouded with this communist ideology, they don't realize the real significance and heritage of Tamil language. Should you be proud of your own language? Definitely yes. Should you bash Sanskritam? Simple question is why? People lack this fundamental thinking capabilities when you blindly follow any political or religious ideologies. So these manuscripts or the sources of Skanda Puranam and many other ancient scriptures stood as evidences in this legal battle of Ram Janmabhoomi. I added a small snippet from the judgment of Supreme Court in this Ayodhya Ram Janmabhoomi verdict. As you can read here, the references made to Skanda Puranam, there are almost like 60 to 70 times Skanda Puranam is quoted in the entire judgment as a witness or as a reference, and a couple of other ancient scriptures. This judgment is easily available on the Google. You just type in Ayodhya Ram Janmabhoomi verdict PDF and then you'll just get it directly from the website of the Supreme Court of Bharat. You can be a communist or an atheist or a believer or non-believer, whatever be the case. That's no problem at all. Just we should never kill the truth or try to kill the truth. Because end of the day, yato dharmas tato jeha. Where there is dharma, which is righteousness, only there can be justice. Justice delivered in the case of Ram Janmabhoomi. To conclude it in the words of Swami Vivekananda, truth does not pay homage to any society, ancient or modern. Society has to pay homage to truth or die. Societies should be molded upon truth, and truth has not to adjust itself to society. I love these words to the core, and that's exactly what has happened in the case of Ram Janmabhoomi. That is the end of it. Whether it is 14 years of exile or 500 years of resilience, it is truth and truth alone that will win at the end of the day. Jai Shri Ram, and as always, thanks for watching.